man. I'm not even that drunk, alright? Fucking, who's drunk? I think you're drunk, alright? Fuck you, man. Fuck you. What up, everybody? It's your boy back here, Drunktaku, bringing you back again with some Tusk the Otaku. Oh wait, I fucked that up. I was supposed to say that I'm Tusk the Otaku and I was bringing you some Drunktaku shit. I fucked up. I'm sorry, everybody. Here, I'm gonna get the paddle, and you can and spank my ass later for fucking. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But right now, I'm bringing you a video that's got tree. All right, count them tree. 1, 2, 3 different things. I'm just gonna cover real quickly. One of them some news shit. One of them is some fucking rambling about some good manga shit that I read recently, because you know, I can't read fucking everything just because the 2 manga I'm talking about, they're in the fucking video title, you know what they are relatively old. You know, I got to them recently. I just finished them, 2 most recent manga that I finished, and they're fucking amazing. So I just felt like talking about them. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. I'll probably add some kind of like timestamp so you can just skip around if you don't want to hear the news or you don't want to hear about one series but you want to hear about the other. I got you, alright? I got you, fam. Don't worry about it. So, first thing news, alright? This is huge, alright? Fucking huge. So, recently there was a one-shot that was done by Naoki Urasawa. If you know Naoki Urasawa, you know he's a fucking G. He's done 20th Century Boys, Monster, Pluto, Billy Bat, maybe some others. I don't know his whole fucking catalog. I know about those. I ain't read Billy Bat or Pluto yet. I'm gonna get to them, alright? But he released a one-shot called Damien. It's about this one geek kid who wasted all his fucking money on microtransactions and mobile games because he's a fucking pleb. He's a kaput. He's a putz. Yeah, fuck him. You got, I think the dude's name is Damien. It's been like a few days since I read it again. I'm not in the best mental state, but Damien, he's got like, I guess, the powers of God or whatever. Again, it's like a one-shot. It's 30-something pages long, not too long. And then you got this one guy who's part of like a mafia. He just wants to spend some time with his kid. Very touching, whatever. And it's this little one-shot about the story between the 3, and it's interesting. But what else is interesting about it is 2 things, really. First thing is it takes place 9 years, I believe, after the end of 21st Century Boys. And that's just like the last volume of 20th Century Boys. I'm not really sure why he had to go out of his way to change the title. It confuses things. Fuck you, Naoki Urasawa. Why you gotta do this shit? Whatever, great manga. If you haven't read 20th Century Boys, read that shit. But it was a fun one-shot and all. But the best part about it, in my opinion, is they confirmed that Naoki Urasawa's next work is going to be happening this year, alright? They didn't say when this year. Maybe we'll get that news later on. I'm not a news channel. I probably won't update y'all with that shit because I'm lazy, and again, this ain't a news channel, but god damn. I'm hyped, alright? I'm hyped. So with that out of the way, I want to talk about Slam Dunk, man. Slam Dunk. Slam Dunk is a manga that was serialized by Takehiko Inoue, right? And this is his most popular work fucking ever. I don't think most people can make something more popular than Slam Dunk. At least, you know, in Japan. I'm talking about popularity in Japan, alright? Don't get fucking twisted. But I mean, this shit's so popular, it made basketball popular in Japan, and no one gave a fuck about it before. Do you understand this shit? That's how good Slam Dunk is. And I ain't gonna lie to you guys, I ain't gonna fucking lie, alright? Alright. When I was reading this shit at first, it's like 270 or 60 some chapters, alright? It's not too long, but it's not too short either. When I was first reading this shit, I thought, and this is pretty good. It's pretty fucking good. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I really like the characters and all that stuff. The art's great. The actual matches, the actual fucking basketball duel and all that shit. It was fun, but I didn't get it. I didn't get how this could be so popular. It would make a sport popular all throughout Japan. And then I finished it. And I got it. I fucking got it, man. Oh, it's good. Dude, so main character, Sakuragi Hanamichi, he joins the basketball club because back when he was in middle school, he was known as the guy that went 50 straight times asking out a girl and getting rejected. You're right. This guy has gotten 0 fucking pussy. 0. Then he gets to high school. He tries this shit out again. He's like, I can break this streak. Gets rejected again. And then he's walking down the halls. What happens? Cutie fucking walks up to him and is like, yo, you're tall. Are you on the basketball team? See, last chick that just rejected him recently was like, yo, I'm into people in sports clubs and all that shit. I'm into athletes. So this bitch comes up to him asking if he's on the basketball team. He's like, yeah. Yeah, I am. I love basketball. Dude hasn't played basketball once in his life. Then he goes, challenges the captain of the basketball team, just so happens to be the chick's older brother. Boom. Dude's on the basketball team solely because he wants him some pussy. If that's not a good reason to do something, I don't know what it is. If you don't think the pursuit of pussy is a worthy one, then just get the fuck out, So we got a really fun main character that has the capacity for a lot of really funny moments. Some really comedic shit goes down, especially towards the beginning, to the point where you could almost view this shit as gag comedy. And they even introduced at this time the rival character. Now, the rival character is kind of like the Sasuke to Sakuragi's Naruto. You're right. The rival is a dude named Rukawa. And you're thinking at first, like, oh, Rukawa is just going to be Sasuke. He's like, I got to be the best no matter what. Fuck everybody else. I don't give a fuck. But similarly to Sakuragi, he actually has a lot of comedic value to him as well. And just the fact that he can be funny and has a lot of great moments where he bounces off with a bunch of the other teammates, including Sakuragi, and develops as a character, just makes him like infinitely better than all the generic rival characters that just don't give a fuck about anyone else but are still loved by the bitches and all that stuff. Oh, dude. He was the most surprising character in the whole fucking thing because I actually liked him despite him being on the surface just this like emo heartthrob motherfucker. And it was amazing how they made me like this dude. Fuck, man. And especially during the actual basketball games. This dude styled so hard. He'd go up to a dude, he'd fucking, dribble around him. Maybe he'd fucking dribble that shit through his leg, catch that shit, jump over a motherfucker, and slam it right in someone's face. Turn around and just be like, fucking what? What? What are you gonna do? You're gonna stop me? I'm the best in the goddamn country, He's great. He's hype. He styles hard on a motherfucker. He's funny. And he's got a bit of a cool factor to him as well. He's kind of like a polar opposite of Sakuragi, but in like a good way, I guess. It's wonderful. I love the characters in this goddamn manga. Because, of course, aside from the two that I've mentioned, there is this whole team of characters that, they're on the fucking basketball team for the high school Sakuragi goes to. You got the captain, you got the point guard, you got the 3-point shooter guy, you got some of the dudes that are on the bench most of the time. They play some kind of role as well. There's even like that element of that 90s like high school thug shit that you probably enjoy if you saw Yu Yu Hakusho and all that. They even got that. There's so few things that this manga doesn't fucking have. Because like I said, towards the beginning especially, it's got that like kind of gag manga aspect to it where you're probably going to be laughing and shit. But the story is progressing while all of this is happening. It doesn't feel like you're wasting your time seeing all this because you're getting some characterization. And the gag comedy just kind of happens as a result of the characters being who they are while they're going from point A to point B, while they're training, there's sometimes in serious fucking matches, silly bullshit will happen that actually like affects the flow of a match. It's ridiculous what they can get away with in this shit, and it still is like cool and badass at the same time. I mean, like I was saying, like some of these actual like basketball games are some of the dopest shit I've ever seen in my fucking life. Even the first major one that happens, which is actually a practice game, blows my goddamn mind. And the effects of this match are felt throughout the whole thing. The other team that they face during this practice match, the whole time, they just have this view of Shohoku, the high school that Sakuragi and all the main characters go to. They have this view of them where it's just like, yo, these guys can fucking go. And they're just improving constantly, that whole thing. In a way, it's kind of like Kuroko no Basket, but this came before, and it's a little bit less gay, I guess. I don't want to say Kuroko no Basket's like gay necessarily. I enjoyed the shit out of it. And just calling it gay, I think would do a bit of a disservice to it. But I think if you've seen it, you kind of know what I'm talking about. Anyway, back to Slam Dunk. So despite what I've said about like all the matches that are going on throughout the series just being dope as shit, I feel like it doesn't really hit its perfect fucking 10 out of 10, this shit makes basketball look amazing stride until the very last match in this series against the best basketball team in the country, you know, those guys. And it is something else. If you're familiar with Takahiko Inoue's like other works, you may be familiar with Vagabond. I love to stroke Vagabond's dick because I love Vagabond. I've been collecting the fucking mangas recently, and they are something else, I'll tell you that. And I almost compare that last match in Slam Dunk to something that would happen in Vagabond. Just the feeling behind all of it. The visuals that they provide you just in the fucking manga. You know what's going on. You know the action that's happening. And it almost comes to a point where it's like beyond my realm of expertise to really explain what I'm feeling during that. But it's so good. It just blows my mind. I'm just reading this shit. I'm around like a bunch of buddies of mine, and I'm just losing my goddamn mind, and everyone else is just looking at me like, yo, what the fuck's wrong with him? Because I finished this shit just randomly out of nowhere. I didn't sit down and dedicate myself to the last like 20 chapters. I was just reading this shit on the go, and my mind was just being blown, and it was, oh my god, dude. Again, like, it's hard for me to really describe it, and I wouldn't really want to describe it too much in detail because I wouldn't want to spoil it for people that haven't read it before. But Slam Dunk, a shonen basketball manga, becomes Vagabond right at the end, and that's a very, very good thing. Oh my god. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Just fucking read it. Just fucking read it. It's not too long. You're going to enjoy the shit of it. I know you're going to enjoy the shit out of it. Even if you haven't really gone into much of the sports manga genre or universe or whatever you want to call it. If you haven't really explored it much and you're always hesitant to do it, I'd still check this shit out because it might just change your mind about sports manga. I'm telling you, just read Slam Dunk. I think there's an anime that came out, but it's like some old school shit. I don't even know if it covers the entire manga. Just read that shit, man. Just read it. The other manga I wanted to talk about was Naoki Urasawa's Monster. Oh, look at that. Fucking I talk about Naoki Urasawa in the beginning, I'm talking about it in the end. Fuck you. Who do you think you are calling that shit out? Who invited this guy? Who invited this guy? But that shit was wonderful as well. If you're familiar with his work at all, he likes to have this kind of mystery aspect to it all, where there's a huge cast of characters that eventually will just kind of like wrap itself together to solve this one big thing, find out about this whole thing. Like, I'm being super, super vague about this because one of the best parts about his works is just reading through it, discovering the mysteries as they happen, and all of them are different for each series, but that's kind of just a running thing throughout all the things that he's done. And one of the best examples of this is Monster. It's about this brain surgeon, Dr. Tenma, this Japanese dude that comes over from Japan to Germany to work at this high-end hospital and be able to actually just do research. The brain surgery and all that stuff was just kind of an afterthought to him. But then one day, this little boy comes in with a twin sister as well. The twin sister is just in shock. And the little boy has a goddamn bullet through his fucking head. Right through the fucking forehead. This shit is savage. And Dr. Tenma needs to operate on this kid immediately to save his life. Right before he gets going. He's in the operating room. He's all gloved up. He's got that shit on his face and everything. He is ready to go. It just so happens that the mayor of whatever town in Germany that they're in, or maybe mayor, governor, I can't remember exactly what his title was, comes in injured from something else. Seriously fucking injured. I think it was a car crash or something. And he also needs Dr. Tenma to operate on him. And they want Dr. Tenma to switch from the little boy to him. And he tells him, it's like, look, all lives are equal. It doesn't matter what your standing is. I was assigned to this little boy, so I'm going to save his life. Assign someone else to the mayor. He doesn't have a bullet through his fucking head. I'm sure he'll make it out fine. Dr. Tenma operates on the little boy. He lives. Whoever was operating on this fucking mayor, he may as well get his fucking license to cut people open taken away, because the mayor dies. And now Dr. Tenma looks kind of weird because he let the mayor die, at least in some people's eyes. And he's getting a lot of shit for it. He goes over to the boy, still unconscious, recovering from the surgery, and he's just talking to himself. He's like, these people may as well just die. Who the fuck do they think they are? And it just so happens that that little boy heard that as the first thing that he ever hears after becoming conscious after he got shot in the head. The man that saved his life told this kid, I guess he told this kid, that he wanted people dead. And the little kid made them dead. He made them dead real fucking hard, and him and his twin sister vanished from the hospital. All of this. 3 prominent people within the hospital, like the director and all this shit, were killed during this. And while Dr. Tenma wasn't arrested, he was definitely put under suspicion because of this. Fast forward 9 years, and there's these investigations going on about middle-aged couples just dying. Their houses are broken into, supposedly by some kind of lockpick, and they're killed. Very few things from the houses or apartments are actually taken. So there's this investigation that goes on, and then they're able to find the lockpick, or who they think is the lockpick, like seriously injured. He goes to the hospital Dr. Tenma's at. He's still working there, and he's got a pretty high position in there too. This all works into the story of all of it, with all the characters involved. It's beautiful. It's fucking beautiful. And Dr. Tenma saves the lockpick's life. The lockpick then just explains everything to Dr. Tenma. He confesses to him everything that's happened because, yet again, Dr. Tenma is this, like, high-up father figure. He's saved this man's life. Despite him actually being older than Dr. Tenma, he looks up to him at this point, and he values him greatly, and he tells him everything. And then a lot of other shit happens, and Dr. Tenma watches as the kid whose life he saved 9 years earlier shoots the lockpick to death right in front of him and just walks away. And then the rest of the story revolves around finding this kid and figuring out his past and all these other things that he's tied into with all these different groups. And it's bonkers. It has this weird horror vibe, despite it very much just kind of being a mystery. And it's got a good action element to it as well. There's a lot of great gunfights. And the action in itself is really down to earth, right? Like, someone will get shot right in the stomach and they're going to be reeling back in pain. But there's, some more badass characters that will kind of fight through it and be able to just try to get things done, but then that gunshot wound is used to the other person's advantage. They maybe like grab the gunshot wound and, you know, bow the person in the nose and all that. It's hard to find things that are wrong with this series, at least in my opinion. Maybe towards the end, how they don't really make it very crystal clear how things turned out for all of the characters, and they don't really spell things out for you, despite the fact that I think this series does a great job of introducing a ton of different elements and a ton of different characters and wrapping it all up nicely and in a way that's easily understandable by someone that maybe just kind of read it every now and then, or maybe even was reading it while it was coming out. And it just feels nice to finish it. It's one of those things that just has a lot of build-up, and then maybe it'll stop with that build-up and build up other things, and then you see it tie in together, and the payoff is amazing. And that's just kind of Naoki Urasawa's works in general. So I'd recommend him just to anyone. If you find that you want to read anything and then it says the author is Naoki Urasawa, get on that shit right away. But specifically, I can recommend Monster and 20th Century Boys. I was talking about 20th Century Boys in the beginning. You gotta read them shits. They're so good. I don't want to spoil anything else by Monster. All the things that I really said just pertain to the first like 10, 12 chapters, really. And there's like 160, and it's bonkers the whole way through. This shit will just grab you, force you to just immerse yourself in the world, and force you to keep reading, because every chapter, it seems like, ends with some cliffhanger, and you're just like, well, fuck. Now I need to see what happens. And then you just get dragged into like some other character's story, and then you're just like, well, fuck, what was happening to them? Like several chapters later, you figure it out, and then more shit is introduced. It's wonderful. I think I've rabbled on long enough. I was just excited about these things. Again, I finished them recently, and then, like I said in the beginning of the video, there was some big fucking news relating to Naoki Urasawa. I'm super hyped about that shit. Let me know what you guys think below about Slam Dunk and Monster. Have you guys read them before? Do you want to read them? How did you feel about them when you were finished? Where are you at in them currently, if you're currently reading them? And how hyped are you for Naoki Urasawa's new work coming this year? I love to know. I legitimately love reading comments. You go back to my videos like several months ago before apparently YouTube changed its algorithm to favor videos with a lot of comments or something. I just love seeing comments and having discussion happen. That's why I have this shit. So, I'll see you all around. Thank you for listening.